Hi folks, welcome back to the shop. Period Woodworker here. I want to take just a few minutes. It won't be as long as the last video that we had on this this wonderful Lie-Nielsen Dovetail twin screw vise, but I did want to show you a couple of things that I've learned over the last couple of weeks as I've used the vise. It has a lot of potential. There are a lot of things that it will enable you to do better than you can with just a traditional woodworker's workbench. I do love my workbench. I use it almost every day. This vise will not really replace the traditional end vise on the workbench. It will, however, certainly complement a lot of the other duties that you do. It actually holds your lumber better for dovetailing, for some mortising. It raises it a little too high for all of your planing needs, but there are probably a lot of you who might be interested in this vise that don't actually have a woodworker's vise, and a woodworker's workbench. But until you can get that or build one, this is a great alternative and a great complement to it. So let me move the camera, and I'll show you a couple of the things that I found in the last month working with it. As I showed you in the first video, this has large twin screws on this. I think they're actually larger than some of the other twin screw vices that I've used. They are 1 1/8 inches. I don't know what the thread is. It's probably about 4 teeth per inch. But the 1 1/8 really makes it nice. And it's not a defect, but the only problem that I actually found with this vise was it still is quite stiff, and I think that's probably related to the chain and the two screws that it does turn. But while I was cleaning it, I sprayed a little lubricant on it. I use this Croil to loosen stuff up. It's a good lubricant. I got to using it in some of my gunsmithing and stuff I do there, but it's a good product. On this, I found a remnant of, I guess, the machining of the screws. This was kind of wrapped around the screw, and it was up inside of the wood. It took me a little work to get it out. Not a serious issue. Really the only thing that I found on this vise that I had a problem with, and that's really nothing. A viewer suggested that another potential that you could use this vise is if you have dog holes in your bench, which most benches do, you could drill a hole in. Let me move the camera. They suggested that you could drill 2 holes in each one of these feet that come out and run a screw down through your dog holes, and then you wouldn't have to be troubled by these clamps. I might do that in the future, but I'm not so sure I'm ready to drill a hole in the vise just yet. Although I certainly don't think that it would hurt the integrity of it, because it's a very substantial chunk of maple. You would want to make sure first that the spacing on the holes in this would line up with the holes that you have in the dog holes in your bench. If they don't, then you would force to use one of the holes in the stationary part of the bench and one of the holes in the end vise to do it. I guess I'm lucky because mine would line up. Let me give you those measurements. This vise is 31 5/8 inch before you get to the feet. And then the feet are 2 3/4 inches long. 2 3/4 inches, and they are 2 3/4 inches wide. You also need to make sure that the center of your dog hole is going to be close enough to the edge of the vise so that you can bring this at least to the edge, or else you won't be able to get your timber down inside of it to do your dovetailing. So luckily the center of my dog holes to the edge of the vise is somewhere around 1 7/8 inches. So I wouldn't have any problem with doing that. I can't remember if in the first look at this vise, if I gave you the actual dimensions of it. But let me move the camera and we'll do that. Okay. Give you the dimensions real quick in case I didn't in the last one, or in case this is the only video that you see. The height of these are about 5 1/4. They are 2 3/4 inch thick. It's hard maple. The back one is the same, with the exception of it does have the 2 3/4 inch feet on each end to hold or to drill a hole through, to attach, or just whatever. As I said, I've used this for a couple of weeks and I've done quite a few jobs in it, but these screws are not loosening up yet. It's probably a testament to the quality of the build, but these will open up 6 inches plus 1/8. So you could easily get a 6-inch board. You could put it in flat between the jaws, or whatever you had need to do. The distance between the screws center to center is 19 3/8 inches. So that leaves you 18 1/8 inches that you could put a tabletop, multiple boards, or just whatever you needed to down through them to hold them for dovetailing or for whatever need that you would need to do. As I mentioned in the first video, and I have come to absolutely love it, and that's this thin piece of leather that covers the entire inside of the movable jaw. I'll show you that in a second. Here's the leather. As I say, it covers the entire inside of the movable jaw. It's about 1/8 inch long. There's no defects in it. It's a very nice piece of leather. And about all I can say is, Tom, Mr. Lie-Nielsen, you need to come out with this as something that you offer in your shop or in your catalog. This would be great to sell to people to line their own vices, to line other things that they might have in the shop. It's a very good idea. It's sometimes hard to find this thin leather like this, of this quality. So if you start selling it, send me a piece. I'll do a video and show how to line the jaw. Now, is that a shameless plug or what? Anyway, let me show you how well this leather holds. I really love this stuff. I have found that you don't have to really torque these screws. You don't have to really grab hold of, because this leather just does an excellent job of holding it. It's not going to move, whether it's vertical, if you put it horizontal, and it just is not going to move. This is good stuff. I like this leather. It goes along with this wonderful vise. Let me show you a couple of other things that I've decided that make this worthwhile. One of the other benefits, or to demonstrate the use of this if you don't have another bench to put it on, you may recall when I showed you, gave you my shop tour, I have these huge oak doors, 2 of them, that I've kind of made an assembly table. I also do some business work on them and such. But they will hold a lot of force, a lot of weight. You can bring this over into this area, and you actually could attach this, and I have attached it. I did some a little dovetailing over in this area. I actually have a couple of blind screws in this piece of oak door that I use to hold some reloading stuff that I have. I think I did a video on that. But if I'd had holes in this, I might use the same thing, only those are just a 1/4 by 20 bolts, and I might use something a little bit more substantial to hold this. But this just creates the same potential to use on here. I could actually put it on the edge of my router table if I needed to use it there. There are just all types of things that you could do with it. So I don't think I really need to show you how to use a vise. You either know or you've read or that. So I was going to demonstrate some of the actual woodworking, but I don't think I need to bore you with that. I'm sure we'll be having some stuff here in the shop that I can show you those activities later on. This is a good vise. I'm glad that I bought it when I stopped in at Lie-Nielsen there in Maine. And I did buy this. He didn't give it to me. It's not a promotional. It's anything. It is a good vise. I think that I'm going to get a lot of use out of it in the future. So give it some consideration. If you're up in Warren, Maine, stop by. Take a look at it. I think they usually have one of these attached to. He just has some great woodworking benches that maybe you might want to pick up one of those too. But anyway, that sounded too much like a commercial, and I don't want this to do that. So I will thank you for joining me. Period Woodworker again. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. I hope you'll mark this whether you like this or not. Give me an idea of what to do in the future. And be coming back real soon with some projects and some look at some other things in the shop. So I hope that you do good work that'll make yourself happy, and stop back again. Thank you.